Good morning. It is time for the Morning Mindset once again. I'm Kerry Green, retired pastor and your friend, walking along this path toward holiness and toward redemption, full redemption in Jesus Christ. We are Christians. We are followers of Jesus Christ. Is that how you see yourself? Is that the identity that you carry into each day? Well, the Morning Mindset is here to help you think that way, to help you recognize you have a master now who is not an oppressive, harsh, vindictive sort of a master who's only out to get what he wants for himself. He is here to empower you to live in a way that not only brings goodness into your own life and the life of others, but it brings him glory. Because when he receives glory, everyone who sees it is drawn to him and benefits from what they see. And we've been in Romans chapter 8 here, and it's talking about that fact that we have a new master. We are no longer indebted to what Paul calls the flesh, which is what he says to refer to the power of sin in our lives. And he's just said in verse 13, if you live according to the flesh, you will die. But if by the Spirit you put to death the deeds of the body, you will live. Now let's pause for a moment and let's unpack that a little bit. The deeds of the body may lead you to think that he's talking only about sins that you do with your body. Things like overeating or sexual impropriety or maybe being abusive towards someone else. It could lead you to think that. But in the context, that is not all that Paul is talking about. Those things definitely qualify because they are sins. But the way Paul has been using his terminology here, what he means by deeds of the body is any sin, because those sins come from the power of sin that resides in your mortal body. You can go all the way back into chapter 7 of the book of Romans and trace this line of thought, that our flesh, which is the mortal body in Paul's terminology, is where the power of sin resides. And he's saying, by the Spirit of God, we are able to put to death those deeds of the body, so those sins. He's saying, you do that by the power of the Spirit. So what does that really look like in life? What's the practical way that happens? Well, Paul says that when the Spirit of God comes to dwell within us, he now is making himself available to us, to be a power source, to be the person who lives through us, to give us a victorious kind of life over the power of sin. You see, the Holy Spirit doesn't come into our lives just as an ornament. He's not like a cross of gold that hangs around your neck and symbolizes something. He is a guarantee of God's presence in your life because he is God himself. He's the third person of the Trinity. And so when Paul says, if by the Spirit you put to death the deeds of the body, what he's saying is, if you, in an attitude of faith, recognize that a sin struggle is at your doorstep, and instead of trying to fight it on your own, instead of trying to grit your teeth and employ habits that you've tried to develop to overcome that sin, instead of that, you turn to the Spirit of God and you say, Holy Spirit, you are in me. I affirm that truth. I acknowledge that truth. And I'm going to, here's the key, I'm going to rest in that truth. I'm going to count on it in this situation, because I'm going to have to take action here in a moment. I'm going to have to say no. I'm going to have to resist. I'm going to have to fight. And I do not want to do that fighting in my own strength, because my own strength has failed me time and time and time again. In fact, my own strength can become a deed of the flesh because it is not sourced in you. So Holy Spirit, I am going to lean on you in faith, confident that you are going to help me overcome this particular temptation. And as I step out now in active action, I don't know a better way to say it, I'm trusting you to be the power that overcomes. You see, that is walking by faith. You're having faith that he will do what he has come into your life to do. Join me again tomorrow for the Morning Mindset.